everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jennifer, and today I'm going to be doing my foundation roundup. This is just going to be 4 foundations, technically 5, I'll explain in a minute, that I've been trying out over the last month or so. 2022 has started off with a lot of new releases, and a lot of them have been foundation. And the reason that's kind of unusual is because for the last year and a half, I haven't actually seen a lot of new formulations or new types of foundation hit the market. And maybe it's just me, maybe I missed them, but it seems to me that there's been a lot in just this last month. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about the ones that were released, some things I didn't pick up, and then the 4 that I did, 4.5, and how they differ. And I'll actually show you on my face. I have nothing on my face right now. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so first let's talk a little bit about the foundations that were released. Like I said, I picked up most of these. So the first is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. I have this in 3 Cool. If you haven't seen it, I did a video where I compared 2 Neutral to 3 Cool. Most people prefer the 3 Cool, including myself. My husband actually likes the 2 Neutral better, and so do some of you, so it's kind of interesting. Then there is the Nars. This is the Light Reflecting Foundation. I actually didn't even know this was coming out. I have it in Mont Blanc. There is the Chanel #1. This is their Vitalizing Foundation, or the Camellia Rouge Foundation, the #1 foundation. People have been giving it different names. I have this in BR12. Then there were 2 new reformulated Dior foundations. So the foundations existed before, but they've changed them to be clean formulas. And they're both the Forever foundations, but there's the Forever Matte, which is this one, in 1N. And then there was the Forever Glow foundation. And I tried that. I did that in a video for you guys with a sample, and I didn't like it. So it wasn't really glowy. If you're gonna have a glow foundation, if you're gonna call it a glow foundation, then it should be a glow foundation. It wasn't very glowy, and I just don't think it looked great on me. So I actually bought that foundation. It came to me, and I have yet to return it, but I will be returning it. The other is the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Tint. I do want to try that, and it's been sold out where I am, so I haven't been able to buy it yet. But anyway, I definitely want to get that. There's also a Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Foundation. I don't know, I think it's new because I hadn't seen it before. You know, I'm not sure, but it looks new to me. I haven't picked that up. So I haven't picked up the Bobbi Brown, I haven't picked up the Shiseido. And I've actually been interested in both of those. So those are all the new ones that I'm aware of. I also picked up the Christian Dior. Now this is interesting because it's the Dior Forever Skin Glow Foundation, which seems to me is the same as the Skin Glow Foundation in the bottle, but it's in a cushion. And it does look great on me. In fact, I really, really like it. So I'm a little confused. I don't think it's just the application. I think there's actually a different formula. Anyway, so we'll try out those things today. And the way I thought I would do this is actually put swatches on my face so you could see it. And then I'm gonna finish with the foundation that I consider to be my favorite of all of these. But let me explain to you the differences. First, I wanted to pull my hair back so you can see it. I'll bring you in close when we try on the foundations, but I wanna go through these really quickly. So a couple things to note. The Forever Matte Foundation, again, I have it in 1N, it's $52. It says that it's a liquid formula, medium coverage, matte finish, hydrating, has an SPF of, it just says concentrated floral skincare with sunscreen. All right, if I can figure out the SPF, I'll put it down below. And it's got a 12-month shelf life, okay? So that's the Dior. The Nars is $49, a liquid formula, medium coverage, natural finish. It says it's good for redness, good for dullness and uneven texture, good for dark spots, which is, I think it's interesting that they specifically say that. But anyway, this one says it's good for 24 months, which is twice as long as the Dior, and it's a few dollars cheaper. It's not that much cheaper, but it is cheaper. The Chanel is $70, so it is more expensive. It says that it illuminates, it's moisturizing, It has a luminous finish. They all describe themselves very differently. It's just fascinating. And this one comes in, how many shades does this have? 20 shades. I should mention the others. The Dior has 2 shades and Nars has 36 shades, so definitely more. Now, the Christian Dior cushion, I bought this at Harrods. I'll put the price down below because I can't remember right now, but I only saw like 3 shades. That can't be right. There's got to be more shades, but I only saw like 3. So yeah, that would be my biggest concern. It does have an SPF of 50, so that's really interesting. If you're really looking for an SPF. Now the Charlotte Tilbury is 30 shades. It is $44, and it says it's a medium coverage, hydrating foundation, beautiful, healthy looking glow. So it's interesting. Chanel has 20 shades. Charlotte Tilbury has 30 shades. Nars has 36 shades, and Dior has 42 shades. It's interesting. So as always, Chanel has the least. But Dior, the cushion, like I said, I can only find 3. All right, so they all say they have a medium coverage. I don't know about that. I would say, although actually the Chanel No. 1 says it's buildable. It doesn't really say that it's a medium coverage. I'm just checking. No, it doesn't say that. It says, or it's the others say medium coverage. This says a buildable foundation with a luminous finish. Okay, yeah, so that's fair. So I would say this. In my opinion, this is the lightest coverage. It's a almost skin tint like coverage, but it's very diffusing and very smoothing, and it really does even out all the redness on my face. I would say the Nars and the Charlotte Tilbury have about the same amount of coverage. The Nars finish is more luminous, and this is more skin-like. And then the Dior Forever Matte is a velvet matte. The cushion is most like, I'd say it's more like the Nars. It has a luminosity to it that's very pretty, but it's not as luminous. So it kind of leans a little bit in between the Nars and the Charlotte Tilbury. I'll show you on my face. So I'll bring you in close so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, let's start with the Chanel No. 1 because I feel like that's the lightest foundation. And when I say lightest, I mean in coverage. It's creamy. I have it in B12. And I'm literally gonna do like a swatch on my face so you can see. Now, when you leave it like that, it actually looks like a pretty, full coverage, right? I mean, it doesn't look thin. But when you smooth it out, you get this very smooth, light texture, which is actually really beautiful. All right, let's take the Nars. Now the Nars is runnier. You definitely want to shake it up, by the way. You can also see that the Nars is a warmer shade than the Chanel BR12. The Nars, in my opinion, Nars tends to run warmer in their shades. Not always, but I have had in the past, looking at Nars, I always seem to find that it's a little bit warmer in shade. However, this actually works fine on me because I think it's actually pretty neutral. The Chanel BR12, specifically BR means beige rose, specifically a cooler shade. All right, the Dior Forever Matte. Like I said, this is a matte foundation, definitely creamy. It's going to have a matte finish when we're done. Now, if you look, that is also warmer. In fact, it's warmer than the Mont Blanc in Nars. Like I said, it's actually, the Nars is relatively neutral. If you're a cool tone person, but you're light, fair, kind of my skin tone, the Mont Blanc will probably work for you. This 1N in Dior is actually warm. I'm thinking of picking up the 1CR in the matte foundation to see if I like it better. I like the one end. I actually think it works on me, but it is a tad warm. All right, now this is the Charlotte Tilbury Creamy. This is the 3 Cool. And you'll see this is definitely cool compared to the Nars and definitely to the Dior. It's about, well, it's a little cooler than the Nars Mont Blanc. But you can see how that works, like just how that finish is on the face. You can see already that the Nars is like the glowiest. You know what I mean? You can just kind of see it. Whereas the Chanel just kind of looks more skin-like, and these look more skin-like. Now I'm going to take the matte foundation and rub it into the skin. And you're going to see this has the most coverage. And I'll show you the cushion on my face, on my chin. Now here's the Chanel. You see how thin it becomes? It just kind of blends into my skin. See that? Sort of disappears. This one you can definitely see on my skin. It looks nice, it does. The matte foundation actually looks really nice, but you can just see this just blends like into my skin. I haven't really blended it all in either, but it's like gone. But it's smoothed everything out. All right, so here's the Charlotte Tilbury. And you can see it's more like the matte in the Dior, but it has more skin, like it has a little bit more glow to it. See what I'm saying? The matte does not have a glow, but it actually looks nice. Doesn't look drying. But the Charlotte Tilbury is a similar kind of finish. It just looks a little more skin-like. I don't use powder. So I have noticed, I've watched some other reviewers, and it does seem like the Charlotte Tilbury doesn't look as good with powder. It works for me because I don't wear powder. All right, and here we have the Nars Mont Blanc. Now this one spreads the easiest besides the Chanel. If you want more coverage, because the Chanel doesn't actually give a ton of coverage. The Nars definitely gives a lot of coverage, and it goes on really easily and smooths out. Now, like I said, I didn't rub them all in or anything, but you can see already how luminous the Nars is, how skin-like the Chanel is, how this one has like, looks a little bit more like, almost like a velvet matte, like the Dior underneath. It has more skin-like. This is more matte. You can see the difference. But these two are more similar, and these two are more similar. The difference between the Nars and the Chanel is the Nars gives more coverage. The Chanel is more just diffusing and skin-like. Now, if I take the cushion, it's really interesting because the cushion might be my favorite, but cushions kind of bug me. Because I always feel like you don't get like as much product because a lot of it's wasted. But anyway, that's the cushion in one end. See how different a color it is than the one end in the matte? It's fascinating. Anyway, there's the one end cushion. You can see the one end in the cushion foundation works perfectly for me. The shade, it's perfect. The one end in the matte is more yellow. This is what I'm talking about. Like the Chanel is also perfect, BR12. And it looks a little bit like the cushion. In fact, they're very similar foundations. This one's just really hard to find. Now this, the Nars, has more luminosity. You can see it on my cheek. And it gives more coverage. It covered up any of the redness, which I think is pretty impressive. The Charlotte Tilbury actually looks, and again, I haven't really blended it in. It actually looks quite nice on my skin. It has like a skin-like texture, but it's heavier. It's a heavier foundation. And the Nars matte, I mean the Dior, I've probably been calling it Nars this whole time. The Dior matte, as you can see, it's actually really pretty on my skin because it is a matte, but it's actually a really nice matte. It's not drying, but the color's a little off in the one end. I've been using the one end, but I'm gonna buy a 1CR and see what I think. So, you see that on my face, and I'm gonna let it dry down a little bit while we talk. It's hard for me to pick a favorite, and the reason is because these are different types of formulas. To me, they don't work the same on my skin. So I can't say that I just love one and the rest are bad. However, I do have a favorite. And my favorite at the moment is the Chanel No. 1. But hear me out. The Chanel No. 1 is my favorite because I often don't wear, I know it sounds funny, makeup. When I'm running around most of the time, I really don't wear makeup. What I tend to do is put on a little bit of, I love the Yves Saint Laurent, the Bare Look tint. That's like one of my favorites. Love that tint. I love the, there's another one that I can't think of right now. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, my brain is short-circuited. The Say Slip Tint, another favorite. So I like a very light, just diffusing kind of coverage most of the time. So most of the time, I'm gonna go for the Chanel No. 1. And also, I do feel like it has skin properties in here. I have been using the Chanel No. 1, the Camellia Rouge skincare line. I'm using it for 30 days. I'm using it for a complete month. And then I'm gonna show you pictures and you can tell me what you think of it if you've seen any difference. I think it takes more than a month, but I think you can see some difference in a month. So I'm, spoiler alert, I'm very much enjoying the line. I actually think it's very good. It's my first Chanel line of skincare that I've really been fond of because usually the scents in the skincare, I can't tolerate them. I don't know why Chanel does that, but this scent that's in here, the Camellia Rose, the Camellia Rouge scent, the red Camellia, whatever it is that's in there, is actually quite nice. It smells kind of like an apothecary. I can't really explain it, but it's very, I like the smell. How's that? It doesn't smell like a perfume. It smells different. It smells like skincare, and I like it. So I'm very much enjoying the skincare. So I do feel like this one is my favorite because I feel like it's perfect for me every day and the kind of look that I go for. However, when I go to my meeting in a couple of days, and when I'm gonna go like be in front of people and do public speaking, I'm gonna pick the Nars because the Nars has the most luminosity. I feel like it really looks beautiful on the skin, but it also gives more coverage. And when you're being photographed or you're in front of people or you're outside in natural light and all those things, I want something that gives me a little bit more coverage to get rid of my redness, but also looks seamless. And I think the Nars does that. So I think most people would say they'd want the Nars because it gives a little bit more coverage. It's not a lot. It's not cakey or anything. It's just, it gives more coverage. It also does diffuse the redness really well, really, really well. As you saw when I came on camera, I had a lot more redness here. It's gone. The cushion is phenomenally good. And in the Will I Buy It video that I did, that's what I was wearing and everybody loves that. And everybody has commented on how my skin looks good. In fact, when I wear that cushion, everyone comments how good my skin looks and I think that's great. And I do love it. I actually think it gives really good medium coverage. It's the right shade. It reminds me of the Chanel. It gives good, it's phenomenal looking. The thing is though, I don't think I can really get it here. I have to get it at Harrods. I don't like the cushion because I always feel like you don't get enough foundation. Like you're wasting it in the cushion. And it comes in like 3 shades and I think. I mean, I couldn't find any other shade. So this is not gonna work for people. So, and it's just, I have other issues. But anyway, okay, so when it comes to the Charlotte Tilbury and the Dior, I actually think, and this is gonna sound a little funny, but I think the Charlotte Tilbury and the Dior matte look very similar on my skin, okay? This is my skin. I have dry skin. The Charlotte Tilbury looks more skin-like. It has more of a glow, definitely, than the matte. But it's not glowy. Now, it doesn't say that it's glowy. If you read it, at least it says, beautiful skin foundation for your best healthy looking skin. So it does look healthy on me. It looks healthy. It looks skin-like. It looks really pretty. It doesn't settle into lines. It looks really nice. It looks really good. But I think it resembles the Dior matte, which I also love, to be honest with you. Like when I've been doing Zoom calls, I've been wearing the Dior because it gives the most coverage And if I'm having a bad skin day or whatever, you would never ever notice. And the matte actually wears better for a very long day on me because I have very dry skin. So this matte is not like a typical matte. It's like a velvet. My issue with the Dior is that the one, I think you can see it because right now I didn't really rub it all in. It's like thicker on my face. Then I would, use it. I would sponge it out or diffuse it out with like a brush or whatever. It's a little too yellow. So I love the foundation, but it's just a little bit too yellow. So I'm gonna try the 1CR. I'll test it out for you guys, but I think the 1CR is gonna work. But the 1N in the cushion is fine. So I don't know what to tell you. So that is my foundation roundup. And if I had to rank, if I literally just had to rank, I'm gonna say the Chanel #1 first, the Nars is second, but I really feel like it should be like 1A. It should just be, if you want more coverage and a little bit more luminosity, go with the Nars. It's really hard for me to choose between those two, I have to be honest. Third, I actually would say is the Charlotte Tilbury, because I really like the Charlotte Tilbury, and I think it works really well for my skin. I think it looks really beautiful on my skin. But if you can find your shade, because the undertones are weird. The Dior, I love the matte foundation. It's one of the few matte foundations I like. The other one's the Chanel. I still think I haven't gotten the right shade. I think 1N works for me, but I'm betting I'm a 1CR in that. I'm leaving the cushion for last, even though I love the finish and I absolutely love the way it looks on me, because I can't get it here in the United States, or at least I don't seem to be able to get it here in the United States. And there's like 3 shades as far as I can tell. There may be other shades, but I didn't see them available anywhere. So that to me is a big, it just wipes it off the list. So that is my roundup. I do want to mention, before I just put on the Chanel foundation, some people asked about the Shade and Illuminate foundation and the Clos de Peau foundation. These are some favorite foundations of mine. And I want to talk a little bit about this so you guys can see. So I have the Shade Illuminate in 1.3 Nude Ivory. You can see it's runnier, okay, than like the Chanel or the Charlotte Tilbury or Dior. It's a pretty much perfect match for my skin. That's the first thing I'll say. The shade is excellent. It's really, really good. It's similar in shade to the Chanel. That's the Chanel. That's the Tom Ford. And so it's 1.3, I think. Yeah, 1.3 Nude Ivory. You can see it's close. The Chanel has a little bit more pink. The Tom Ford has a little bit more beige, but they're very close in shade. What I'd say about the Shade and Illuminate versus all of these is that the Shade and Illuminate gives more coverage and is very illuminating. You can see what I'm talking about. Like, see the illumination when I do that? Here's the Chanel. The Chanel is more skin-like and diffusing. It almost like makes everything look blurry. This makes everything look illuminating. See that? This looks more like the Nars. And in fact, it's very similar to the Nars in the effect it gives me on my skin. The difference is the Nars, the Mont Blanc is a little lighter, but I mean, it's not that much lighter. But you can see how it has like a similar reflecting property. Can you see what I'm talking about? Like the luminosity here and the luminosity here. So I would say the closest for the Shade and Illuminate is the Nars. So if you like the Shade and Illuminate, the Nars is my choice for you. The Clos de Peau is a little deep for me, the one I have, because this is the one I wear in the winter. I mean, in the summer and the winter. So it's a little deeper, but you'll see it's still cooler. That's the shade. You can't even see it on my arm. It blends in so well. Let me put it here. My whole arm is gonna have foundation on it. You're gonna be like, why does your arm have foundation? So here's the Clos de Peau right here. You can see it's a little too warm, a little too deep for me. Not a lot, but it's a little too deep because I wear it in the summer. So this one is not as luminous as the Shade and Illuminate. It's not as luminous as the Nars, but it has a beautiful, creamy, like natural finish. And so I think you can see, if I just go like this with my arm, I'm in natural light, by the way, so you could see these. This is the Clos de Peau. This is the Clé de Peau, I wanna make sure I have the right one. Yeah, the Radiant Natural Foundation. So it's like beautiful skin-like. Then you have the Nars, and then you have the shade Illuminate. And can you see, I'm gonna blend it in a little bit more, but you can see how the shade Illuminate still has this illumination on it that the others don't have as much. So I'd say the Tom Ford shade Illuminate is closest to the Nars in the way that it finishes your skin. All right, that's a lot of foundation. I'm gonna go back, put the Chanel on. I want you to see it all over my face, and then we'll wrap up. Okay, I have the Chanel No. 1 all over my face. And I think you can see from the beginning when I started filming and I didn't have any makeup on, how seamless the Chanel No. 1 looks on my face. It just looks like I have great skin instead of I have a great foundation on my skin. And that's what I like most about it. It looks seamless. It doesn't look like I really have on makeup. And I love that look. I love that skin tint, refreshing, diffusing kind of look. Don't get me wrong, the Nars is excellent and I absolutely love the Nars. And it has a luminescence to it that the Chanel No. 1 does not have. This looks more skin-like. And I think the Nars actually does cover and eradicate more of my redness. But I think the Chanel does an excellent job in diffusing it. I don't think you really see it in this area or around my nose the way that it would look without foundation. I think the Nars, when I wear it, it more or less gets rid of it for the most part. So yes, I think the Nars has a little bit more, I would say, coverage. And I also do think it does hold up to its claims of getting rid of redness and dark spots. I think it does an excellent job and I love it. But the Chanel No. 1 is my favorite. Part of that maybe because I'm about to be 50 and I have older skin and you know, I like the way it looks on my skin and I have drier skin. I also would say though, you know, a note is that the Chanel does have a scent. It's this Camellia Rose scent. It's not, to me, it's not a perfume scent, but it's still fragrance. It's still scent. The Nars, I can't tell of any discernible. There's no fragrance there. So if you're somebody who really doesn't want fragrance, this is a clear winner. Absolutely clear. And just really quick before we go, I'm just gonna put on, because I picked this up and I just think it's perfect for the Chanel No. 1 kind of thing. It's another tinted lip balm. Like that seems to be the popular thing. I don't know if it's because we're all wearing masks and our lips are even drier. I'm not sure what's going on, but tinted lip tints seem to be the thing, or lip balms. The Dior, the Chanel, the By Terry, the new ones from Makeup by Mario that I was gonna pick up in the store, which I didn't when they first came out, and now they're sold out by me, so I'm gonna have to wait to try those. Yeah, they seem to be the thing. So this is Dolce & Gabbana. I picked it up at Harrods. It is called Lovely Tulips. It's the Dolce & Gabbana Sheer Lips. And the case for this, before I put it on for you guys, let me show you the case. You have to admit, it's pretty, it's very pretty. Now the lip tint, I put it on my hands, but you won't see it on my hands, so let me put it on my lips. This is a very sheer lip tint. I'll put it on my hand now so you can see, but it's very sheer. It has the lightest of light pink. Can you even pick that up? You can kind of see it. It's, like I said, this is Tulip. This is number 1. Lovely Tulip. So I don't know if any of the other ones are deeper than this, but this is a very, very light pink. Very light. I love it for, again, for travel. You know, for me, I'll be traveling soon, and this is exactly what I want, so that it gives me a little bit of color, not much, but just a tad, and I don't have to worry about it. I don't need a mirror, because if it goes outside the lines, nobody's going to be able to tell. But it does depart a little bit of color, and more importantly, a lot of moisture. It's very moisturizing. It feels very slick on the lips, but not sticky. Like no stickiness, just like an excellent balm with a little bit of color to it. I will probably pick up more of these if I order from Harrods again. There's a couple things from Harrods I do want to pick up that I don't need at all, thanks to Gita. Thank you, Gita, for suggesting things that I now want that do not need. But anyway, So if I order from Harrods, I'll order another one of these and see if I can find a deeper shade. I think they're probably all like this, but who knows? So that's it for my foundation wrap up and my ranking. I would say that I do want to try the Shiseido. I'm gonna try to pick that up. Let me know about the Bobbi Brown Serum Foundation if you want me to try that, because I might. And I also have a Rare Beauty video going up soon. I haven't rushed for that one because it's not new. I know a lot of you are interested in a lot of the new releases, so I try to get those out sooner rather than later. I will do a Rare Beauty video, and I have samples of her foundation in there, so I'll try that. And if there's any others that you're really interested in, certainly let me know. But I have to say, of the 4 that I talked about, well, 4.5, 5, depending on, if you count the cushion, I like them all. I just feel like, depending on who you are, you're gonna have different preferences about which one's your number 1, which I think is pretty normal. But all in all, compared to a lot of foundations that have come out in years past, I think these are far and away better than, many of the ones that I've tried in other years. So it's impressive that this many foundations have come out this month that I like. That's huge. And ones that I love, that's amazing. So I'm very, very happy. And for the Forever, Skin Glow, the foundation, like I said, I'm not a fan of the bottle, the clean reformulated one. It just doesn't really work for me. The cushion is awesome. If you can find this and it's in your shade, fantastic. It really does look beautiful on the skin. But in my opinion, I would rather pick up the Nars or the Chanel because there's lots more options. That comes in lots of shades. It's easier to get. That's just me. And for the matte foundation, if you're looking for a matte foundation, the Forever Dior is excellent. I just think I'm gonna try the 1CR and I'll show you guys, and we'll do a side by side like I did with the Charlotte Tilbury. I'm gonna guess the 1CR is better in that one. Thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you in another video really soon.